Hello, I'm Namakau Mukelawai. Welcome to IDC Insights. This is a program that profiles the Industrial Development Corporation's investments and subsidiaries in the group. Now, the IDC has the mandate to reposition its existing portfolio of companies by ensuring sustainable growth and profitability with the ultimate aim of listing on the Lusaka Securities Exchange for broader Zambian ownership and also benefit through dividends. And so today we focus on the huge milestone ZAFFICO achieved by being the first subsidiary to list after IDC was established. Did you know that most of the timber used for roofing in Zambia, or even the furniture that you're probably sitting on, comes from ZAFFICO? Now, when IDC was established in 2015, ZAFFICO has become the first subsidiary to list on the Lusaka Securities Exchange on the 12th of February 2020. Today, we're shining a spotlight on this transformation. ZAFFICO was incorporated in September 1982, following the commercialization of the Industrial Plantations Division of the Forestry Department. Its business objective is to establish and manage pine and eucalyptus plantations. From these, it commercially processes timber and supplies it to the market. After it became a member of the IDC group of companies, ZAFFICO improved its business model by instituting a robust strategic plan that was anchored on diversification, value addition, and plantation expansion. Currently, ZAFFICO has about 50,000 hectares of pine and eucalyptus plantations located on the Copperbelt, Luapula, Northern, Northwestern, and Muchinga provinces.
ZAFFICO is a very critical player in the economy because our business is to, first of all, grow exotic plantations. In fact, the 7th National Development Plan alludes to the importance of ZAFFICO in the economy in general. So we are happy to be playing that critical role in the Zambian economy. ZAFFICO previously was just a copper belt-based company. All our plantations were here on the copper belt. But now we are in Muchinga, we are in Northern, we're in Northwestern, and we are also growing the portfolio within the copper belt. So we are happy that we've moved away from our traditional place of the copper belt and operating into really all these different provinces. So in total, we are in 5 provinces at the moment.
Now, the IDC, one of its mandates is to transform state-owned enterprises, our subsidiaries, to make them viable. And you are obviously a success story. I should congratulate you, MD. You're one of those success stories. Tell us how you are running with this transformation agenda.
Thank you. So the idea is really to start returning real value to the shareholders, because previously I think state-owned enterprises were not returning sufficient value to the shareholders. But as ZAFFICO, we are happy that we are now transforming our business so that we can return real value to the shareholders. So yes, we are working very hard to continue creating value for our shareholders, and that's why we are now expanding into different places, different products. We are now also diversifying into value addition. Where we are here, it's our pore treatment plant, where we treat pores using both creosote as well as the CCA chemicals for transmission, for telecoms, even for fencing as well. So it's a very critical player in the economy. We operate in Kawambwa, in Shuangandu, in Kasama, Lupososhi, Mushindamo. All these are areas where we are creating jobs. As you know, our business is labor intensive. So at peak, we do employ more than 5,000 people throughout our operation. So we are really creating value not just for our shareholders, but also for the communities where we operate. So we've got our strategic plan, and we are really driving hard to deliver on that plan. And one of the things we included in that plan is to grow the business, basically. We've acquired more than 50,000 hectares outside the copper belt, and we are determined to make sure we plant in all of those areas as we go along. So yes, part of that agreement that we have with the majority shareholder is to make sure it's embedded in our strategic plan, and part of that plan is a growth plan. In fact, one of the things we're doing is to develop a seed orchard, because at the moment there's not enough seed in the country. We do supplement our seed requirements by importing from overseas. Now with all these hectares that we're expanding, we want to be ready to be able to be self-sustaining on the seed requirements. So we are developing a seed orchard in consultation with other stakeholders so that Zambia becomes self-sustaining in terms of seed requirements for both pine and eucalyptus.
An investment of such magnitude requires big tracts of land, and it cannot be achieved without the support of the local leadership.
Well, the working with the chiefs has been tremendous, I must say, really. The chiefs have been very supportive of the projects. I would mention we started with Kawambwa, where we moved in and started working with Chief Munkanta. There was resistance from the locals, but this time it's been positive. We have had very good working relationship with the late Chief Munkanta. Even the current Chief Munkanta has been very supportive. I must mention that in Kawambwa we have over 20,000 hectares of one huge tract of land which was given. Then we went to Kwikile, that is in Shwangandu, under Chief Kwikile. He's been very, very supportive of us. I think throughout the project, from the initiation of the project, even up to, sometimes of course we expect conflict resolution between us and the locals and the chief really comes in to assist. Otherwise the chiefs have been very, very supportive. Right now I may mention that we've moved to Northwestern, and Chief Kalilele in Mushindamu and also in Kalumbila. We're working closely with all the chiefs.
Here we're talking about job creation, especially in rural areas. You can just cite one example, how, because I'm trying to zero in on the impact and also the economic activities. How many employees do you have?
I would give an example like in Shwangandu. Currently, we are employing 430 people. Currently, we're employing 430 people. And I must mention that it's not just a one-off activity, but the activities are spread. Like we do weeding, we employ, I think that's the maximum number we employ. Maybe when we go into land preparation, it scales down from 420 where we were to somewhere around 350, 370. Then we do the planting. Again, the following year, it still goes up. So yeah, it is always there. Those are some of the numbers that I can mention, especially in Shwangandu. We talk of Nakonde, similar figures, about 170 to 200 people we're employing. We talk of Mushindamu, which we're opening this year. Recently, this just last week, we're employing 154 people to assist us with land preparation. So the figures are quite huge, really, in the rural areas, level.
So we're here in a nursery, where you're trying to look at sustainability of your plantations. So what varieties do we have here?
Yeah, I would say currently what we have here is, these are pine seedlings which were recently sown. These are about 2 months, yeah, this is the second month now. This is the second month. This is pine. If you can see there, we have the empty pots which we're yet to sow. There we're going to sow eucalyptus, but what we have generally is just pine.
So how long does it take to harvest pine and also eucalyptus?
Yeah, it takes, for pine it takes 20 to 25 years to harvest pine for saw logs, but for eucalyptus, which we are supplying to the pot treatment plant, it takes 5 to 12 years for us to harvest. During the pot filling, you can see this is a very, very laborious job. We employ the local women, just the women around are the ones who do the pot filling, and they do it on a target-based, piece rate-based kind of work. And again, we're also employing the locals. So in total, ZAFFICO, I think, though I may digress a bit, we have a total of about 6 nurseries in Shwangandu, Kawambwa, and also here. So all the local women, we employ them for this, just for actual pot filling. So we're creating employment even at that level as well.
As the company continued on its diversification path, it needed new capital to support the expansion program, and listing on the Lusaka Securities Exchange presented great opportunities for this. Listing of ZAFFICO was also an opportunity for all Zambians, which included ZAFFICO employees and customers, to buy shares and become part owners of the company. In addition, government through the IDC would still retain control of the company by holding a majority stake. And so, on the 11th of February 2020, ZAFFICO listed on the Lusaka Securities Exchange with an entry price of 2 kwacha 6 ngwe per share.
So from the listing, ZAFFICO was able to raise more than 144 million kwacha. And all of that is going into expansion-related activities. So this year we'll be planting in Mushindamo, we'll be planting in Shiwangandu, we'll be planting in Kaombwa, we'll be planting in Kasama. And some of those proceeds will go towards those plantations that we're expanding. But we're also replanting here on the Copper Belt. You might have noticed that as you drive around on the Copper Belt, there are certain empty patches which were harvested in previous years. We are replanting those areas. For example, this year alone, we are looking to replant more than 2,300 hectares of the empty spaces that we have within the Copper Belt, in addition to the 1,000 that we are planting in green fields in the new areas that we are opening up. So the proceeds from the IPO will help us to achieve that objective.
The IPO was also open to members of staff of ZAFFICO. How was the appetite? How did they receive this news?
It was very well received because a lot of them subscribed and bought shares, and now that has really given them even more impetus to be part owners but also employees. So they now look forward to not just their salary check but also potential for dividends. So employees have received very well. Similarly for other stakeholders like the sawmillers, they are among the people who participated in this process. They too own shares, and they're a very key stakeholder for us. We sell more than 80% of our business to the sawmill associations. So, but they too are shareholders. So it's really a very good relationship. On the one hand, they are customers, but on the other, they are shareholders and part of the owners of the company. So it's a good relationship.
So when IDC announced the IPO of ZAFFICO to the general public, there was a lot of apprehension, especially from the sawmillers. After all, they are a key stakeholder. So the IDC went on a roadshow and engaged all stakeholders, especially the sawmillers, one-on-one. And really, it was to find out what their fears were. And here we are at one of the sawmillers trying to find out how they feel about it. After all, they are now shareholders.
Yeah, it's a nice feeling, you know. It's the first time that you own shares into a parastatal. Something that was a parastatal now is owned by us Zambians. So it's a nice feeling. For me, it's the first time that I'm owning shares into the government itself. So it gives me that nice feeling, actually.
How do your members feel?
Yeah, equally the members feel very great because for them also, it's the first time that they are owning shares into something that was owned by government or something that is partly owned by government. You know, where you are sharing the same table with a government to say you are my co-owner of ZAFFICO. It gives you some great feeling.
We're here in Kalulushi at your sawmilling plant, and I can see that you've employed quite a lot of young boys. It's obviously labor intensive. On average, how many employees does each sawmiller have? Because I'm trying to look at how many families, the ripple effect, the families that each one actually looks after. Okay,
in the sawmilling industry, when you look at the guys that are here, here we have about 30-35 employees. However, these are not the only people that we have. On the average, each sawmiller would get about 30 employees. Now, when you look at the sawmilling itself, when you look at the value chain, we have people that sell food in the bush where we cut the wood. We have people that are transporting the wood. We have people that are cutting the wood. We have people that are skidding the logs. You know, we call them the log skidders. We have people that buy the same finished products and take to Buseko market. The whole Buseko market, when you look at the structure of Buseko market, it is a timber market. So everyone who goes to Buseko is actually employed by us, because without us taking timber to Buseko market, there will be no one obviously will be working there. So we have employment in the value chain, starting from ZAFFICO, where we are buying the raw materials, up to the end user of a product, who is a carpenter. Because even a carpenter is indirect employed by us. If we don't provide the wood, they wouldn't be there. So when you look at our sector, as from the Zambia National Association for Sawmillers, we have about 43,000 jobs that we have created for this nation, both indirect and direct jobs.
Mishek, what are your future plans now that you're a shareholder?
Personally, we want to continue with value addition. We're already doing value addition, and we want to be a global company that can produce, that can make furniture here and supply in China, that can make wooden products and supply in UK. So that's the direction that we are going. But as a shareholder, our future plans want to increase the share value, so that those companies like NAPSA, you know, we sit at the same table with NAPSA now, the directors in NAPSA, even IDC, we see them come when we sit as shareholders, you know. We want to increase our share value so that at some point we own it 100% as sawmillers. That is our future plans in that regard.
The sawmilling industry on the Copper Belt is represented by two main associations, the Zambia National Association for Sawmillers and the Copper Belt Sawmillers and Timber Growers Association, COSTIGA. The two associations have a combined total of over 1,200 members spread across the timber value chain. It is these two associations that the IDC engaged prior to the initial public offer.
The way we took the information from IDC down to our members for them to assimilate what IDC or what the country was trying to bring before them over the same sale of shares or the floating of shares in ZAFFICO. For sure, we had to give them a deeper understanding of ownership, meaning if they buy shares from ZAFFICO, they will no longer be as just the beneficiaries, but they will also be part of the team that is managing the plantations, and that they received it overwhelmingly.
You know, people are very excited. Most of the members bought shares. Almost 87% of our members have bought shares in ZAFFICO. You know, this issue of sawmilling and shares came in with mixed feelings. They thought maybe it was just a joke of the day when they were told that there would be some shareholders in ZAFFICO. But now, since it's reality, they're very happy.
The listing of ZAFFICO not only provides the company an opportunity to achieve its growth objective through the establishment of more plantations throughout the country, but also to enhance job creation and increase the amount of raw timber available for value addition.
You know, ZAFFICO has got a lot of potential. So I want to take it to a level where we just don't concentrate on the plantations, but also on value addition. This facility we are here at the pole plant has got a potential to raise as much as we can. In fact, can compete with what we are making from the plantations. So I want us to diversify this company so that it goes outside just the planting and managing trees, but to adding real value to the street. That's what I want to see, and that's what I want to achieve at ZAFFICO.
Since the IPO, ZAFFICO stock has recorded a trade volume of over 1 million shares, and with over 1,000 retail and institutional shareholders, most of whom subscribed at the initial public offer. Well, that's our program for today. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.